is 2024, and I am not about to let you pay anybody to fix your credit because you can do it yourself for free. For free. And I'm about to walk you through a couple of things that you can do to improve your credit score without having to pay anyone to probably do illegal things that could end you up in jail. So let's get started, shall we? Welcome back to another Millennial in Debt video. If you are new here, hit that subscription button below, turn on the notification bell so you get that every single time I upload a video. Oh, I never get tired of doing that opening, but I do want to change it to make it a little more snazzy, right? Okay, well, that's neither here nor there. The first thing that I really want you to understand is you do not, and I repeat, you do not need to pay anybody to fix your credit. A lot of these credit repair companies out there are scams. Major scam alert, and they are tricking you into doing things that are illegal that seem correct or seem accurate, but they're not. And so we want to make sure that we understand what we can do ourselves legally to improve our credit score. The first thing you want to do to improve your credit score is you want to get a credit report. You need to understand what is going on with your credit in the first place. That means understanding exactly what is on your credit report that is giving you the credit score that you are not happy with. The second thing that you're going to do is you're going to look through that credit report, highlight, underline, circle, box off, whatever it is that you want to do in your annotation world to identify things that are inaccurate. If there are no inaccuracies, then you should not be contacting any credit bureaus. You should not be contacting any credit agencies to try to, get that report off, because that is illegal. If it is an accurate portrayal of what is on your credit report and it's accurately reflected on your credit score, then we're going to move to step 3, baby. We're not going to be committing federal crimes out here in these streets. We are going to own up and accept that maybe we have made some mistakes. Maybe we needed some learning to do. And now we're here doing that learning and doing better. We know better, so we can do better, but we're not going to do better behind bars, baby. So no, you cannot apply for credit using an EIN. Don't do that. No, you cannot report an inaccuracy when it is accurate. Don't do that. And all these other things and applying with all these other fake numbers and writing off and doing this, and this is what rich people don't want you to do. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. Okay? All right. And now that we've clarified that, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to identify the 5 different things that make up your credit score and see how well you're doing in each category. I'm going to walk you through those 5 things right now. And if you want a more in-depth understanding, you can always grab a copy of my book. So This Is Why I'm Broke, where I have an entire chapter breaking down credit scores, what you can do to update your credit score, and how you can improve that credit score. The 5 categories that make up your credit score, one is going to be payment history. So this is typically where people tend to have a bit of issues if they've missed a payment or two. That is going to impact your credit score tremendously. And so if that is the one and only thing that is really impacting your credit score negatively, the only thing you can do to fix that, the only thing that you can do to repair that aspect of your credit is to continue to pay your bills on time. That is all, right? So as you improve with your financial literacy, improve with your finances in general, you will simply just make all your payments on time, and your credit report and your credit score will do better over time. It takes time. There is no overnight fix when it comes to your credit score. The second category that impacts your credit score is going to be credit utilization. This is another major key player when it comes to how your credit score is calculated. If you have, and I'm always going to break down the math like this, if you have one credit card and that credit card has a limit of $1,000, you want to stay under $300, so you want to use less than 30% of your allotted credit, because how the credit bureau and all the lenders will look at it is that $1,000 is representative of 100% of how much credit you have, right? How much credit you have to use. If you're using $300, you're using 30% of your allotted credit. This is why a lot of times people will say you can get an increase in your limit. That will help bring your credit utilization down, because now if my credit limit is $2,000 and I have a $300 balance, I am no longer using 30% of my credit. So we see how that math kind of plays around. This is another reason why it's so important to clarify when people say, well, I paid off this account and my balance went down to 0, and then I closed the card and my credit score went down. The reason your credit score went down if you closed a credit card is because now your credit utilization is going to be shifted, right? You might have another credit card, you might have something else with a balance, but now that you've closed this credit card, you no longer have that $2,000. Maybe you're back down to the $1,000. So it's going to impact your credit utilization percentage. The third category that is going to impact your credit, and this is what really ticks people off, because I'm going to explain another reason why when you close an account, it might drop your credit score a little bit. Credit mix means how many different types of credit do you have? So do you have revolving credit? Do you have a car loan? Do you have mortgage debt? Do you have student loan debt? Because they like to see that you can handle different types of debt. So for example, if you have student loans and you have credit card debt, and for, some miracle, you pay off your student loans and that account closes, right? Because that's not really an account that can stay open if there's no balance. Now you only have credit card debt, which means your credit card mix is going to be impacted because you no longer have a mix of credit. So that is why your credit might decrease even though you've paid off your loan and that debt is now gone. Is it annoying? Yes. Is it because you closed the account? Yes. Is paying off your debt a bad thing and getting rid of the account bad? No, it is not. The next category that impacts your credit is length of credit. We're going to do another reason why your credit might drop if you close an account. So that will be 3 total. And it's not just like, oh, I paid off my thing. No, right? So now you'll understand the reasons why. The reason why if you close an account, your account might decrease your credit score is because it may be your oldest line of credit. So the longer you have had a line of credit, the better it looks on your credit report and the better it impacts your credit score. So for example, when I had my student loans open, they were my oldest line of credit because I got them when I was 17. My first student loan, I was 17 years old. My next line of credit was my first credit card that I got when I was 18 years old. So when I paid off my student loans, yes, I, got rid of a gigantic amount of debt, but my longest line of credit now also closed. Did my credit score drop dramatically? No, but it was impacted by the closing of that account because I no longer had an account that was, 15 years old. And the last category, the last 10% of how your credit score is calculated is going to be your new credit. This is when you hear people say, oh my God, I opened up, a new credit card, or I got a car loan, or I got a mortgage, and it was a hard inquiry that dropped my credit score. That is because they like to pay attention to how many new lines of credit you are opening in a short amount of time. This is why if you have a hard inquiry, it will stay on your credit report for 2 years. But the key thing to remember is if you are looking for a specific type of credit and you have to have your credit pulled a couple of times, they will not report that as multiple pulls. It will just be reported as one. So for example, if you are shopping for a car and looking for a really good deal on a car loan, or if you're shopping for a mortgage and you have to get your credit ran a couple of times, they're not going to say, oh my God, she has 3 hard inquiries. It's going to count only as 1 if you go with a specific, bank, whatever bank you go with. So it's really important that you are not opening a tremendous amount of new credit in a short period of time, because that's going to be a red flag to any lenders, and that is going to negatively impact your credit score. So now that you understand the 5 categories that go into basically calculating your credit score, you also have some sort of ideas or some semblance of ideas of things you could do to improve your credit score without having to pay anyone a single dime. Another active step that you can do if you have a large amount of debt that you are trying to bring down drastically is you can do a balance transfer. But I tell you about this balance transfer with a big but as a caveat, that if you get a balance transfer, you will typically have a specific amount of time to pay back that debt in an interest-free, basically, time block, whatever. You will have a certain amount of time where you do not have to pay interest as you are paying back that debt during that balance transfer grace period. Once that grace period ends, you are typically going to see very, very, very high interest rates. And it's quite possible that the interest rate may be higher than the original debt or the original credit card interest rate or APR. So if you are going to do a balance transfer, some of them are 12 months, some of them are 18 months, some of them even offer 24 months interest free. You want to make sure that your plan encompasses that time frame. You want to make sure if you're like, I'm going to pay down this debt, I'm going to increase my credit score, I'm going to make sure I'm doing all of these things, but it has to be done within the time frame that they give you, so you're not paying a large amount of interest once that grace period is over. Two more things you can do for free in order to increase your credit score is if you have the capability and the responsibility to handle a higher amount or a higher limit on your credit card, you can ask for a credit line increase. Typically, I will ask for a credit line increase once a year, not because I plan on spending way more money, just because I'm telling you, I want to make sure that my credit utilization stays really low. So although I do pay off my credit card every month, I just like to see a little more wiggle room. It also shows lenders that I'm a lot more responsible with a lot more credit on the line. The last, and I mean very, very, very last thing that you can do besides paying down debt, asking for a credit increase, doing a balance transfer so you can pay off during your, grace-free interest period. That sentence was crazy, but you know what I meant. The last option, if your back is against the wall, would be essentially to look into filing for bankruptcy. Bankruptcy is the final frontier, the final step if you have tried every other thing. And what's really important to remember is that bankruptcy doesn't automatically wipe all debts away. It definitely doesn't wipe away student loans. And you have to take certain steps and do certain things in order to be able to file for bankruptcy and have certain debts forgiven or essentially discharged. That is also going to negatively impact your credit score tremendously and will take time, about 7 years, to rebuild and get back to an area where you feel comfortable or can borrow with better interest rates. And that's it. Those are some legal ways for you to improve your credit score on your own for free without doing anything illegal or paying people thousands of dollars to lie to you. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the subscription button, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace.